Hey guys, welcome back to the shed, welcome to the channel. I'm Chris, the Ultimate Recycler, and we have part 16 of our Monday Marathon series where we go through e-waste from the local charity shop because they want nothing of it and I don't want to see it going into the waste stream. And as usual, I like to try and find something to buy, just to flip, a little bit of a challenge to myself. I have to buy something every time I'm there. Sometimes it's difficult. This week it was easy. Got a nice canister here. It's Bendigo pottery. Probably 1980s or so, in really good condition for $2. I reckon I can get 20 for that. So that's one of my good finds. As for the electrical, we've got some sort of portable little toasty oven here. There is some random appliances in this box. There's a heater, there's a milkshake maker. I'm not sure what else. We'll go through it. We'll see what we can save. We'll see if anything needs fixing. Maybe we'll scrap something. But I want to try and save as much as I can going to e-waste. Generally, I save most of it, but occasionally we get stuff that just has to go to the e-waste processing anyway. But, you know, sometimes I scrap it and get a few things out of it. Let's have a look and see what we can save this week. Okay, let's drag stuff out of the tub and then we'll go through it in a bit more detail and test things and see if anything blows up in our face or makes smoke or whatever. This is a Breville milkshake maker. It looks pretty dirty and it's got a screw there, just a random screw. I'm not sure if something's missing, but that makes it a bit hard to sell when it's incomplete. Looks like it was at someone's garage sale for $2 and it obviously didn't sell. So I guess we can plug it in and see what it sounds like, but I'm not overly hopeful we can do much with that. Oh, here we have a really cool little twin LED light, just a little clamp on the bench one. What does it run off? It must be a USB rechargeable thing or something. I'll have to check that one out, but I'm sure that will sell if it works. Next in here we have, what's this? A speaker of some sort, TDK. Here was obviously a garage sale as well, the same text to the same sticker, so they were trying to get $10 for this. It's a speaker, but it's damaged and it's lost the cover. It's very heavy. Maybe it's a little amplifier as well. It has some inputs. So there might be a decent transformer in it, but really we're not going to be able to sell that one, certainly not in that condition. I don't know if it was like that when they donated it, but it's clearly lost a cover and the speaker's been pushed in. So we'll probably scrap that one. This looks like a heater. It looks pretty good actually. It's a Cambrook ceramic heater. Looks good. The cord though is pulling out and we can see the wires there, so that will have to be fixed if we're going to sell it. But I think that looks good enough to, assuming it works, good enough to fix the cord up, so we will test that one. We are coming into the cooler months here. The nights have been quite chilly lately, and just on the weekend I sold 2 heaters. Haven't sold a heater for 6 months. So that being a Cambrook, that looks like it's probably a pretty good quality one, so we'll probably be able to sell that. We do have to do a little repair though. This is a what? It's a quick pot. What's a quick pot? Is it some sort of little thermos? Well, it's electrical. Maybe it's like a soup warmer. A little cooking pot. Looks clean inside. Oh yeah, it's like a little slow cooker. But it doesn't look like it's ever had much use, so that's good. I'll have to check those out, see if they're worth a great deal, but that one certainly looks, it just takes the cord. If I don't have one in the box, I certainly will have a cord for it. So we might be able to sell that one, hopefully. Plastic bags, we'll probably reuse those at the shop. There's a couple of lamps here. They don't have lamp shades, but that's okay. They look in good condition. I probably don't have matching shades for them at the shop, but I do save shades. And the lamp bases themselves look okay, so we should be able to sell those. We have just a 4-way power board. It's an older one, there's no sleeves on the pins, and I have tried to sell these before by testing them, putting a safety tag on them. And you know, you can buy them so cheap these days that it wasn't even worth my while really to write out a ticket. I can get a bit of value out of the cord. There will be brass pins inside here. So I think we'll probably just scrap that one. If it had been a more modern one, and especially with switches, they're more expensive, I would have sold it then. But that one will probably be scrapped. Does this go with that little cook pot? Yes, it does, and there's the cord for it. So that's good. You've obviously got a changeover pot. I think that'll go all right. We have a couple of little earpod things or earphones. They're all tangled up, and no one's going to stick one of these in their ear that's been in someone else's ear. So that will just go into electrical wiring. And is this a laptop? No, it's too light for a laptop. It's I think it's a scanner. A Canon scanner. Does anyone even use scanners anymore? I'll have to check that one out. There's really not much in them to scrap. They're mostly just heaps of plastic and a big sheet of glass. A couple of really tiny little electric motors. I would have to see if it's worthwhile. Look, if it works okay, we might get $5 for it. Not sure. It's probably a fairly old one. So that's all we've got in our tub. And of course, over here we have a little toasty oven, which we will check out. It's branded Sterling, which is a Aldi brand, so it's not particularly good quality one, but as long as it's clean and it tests okay, we'll be able to get something for that. All right, I'll get some of these bigger things off the bench and we'll start testing some stuff. Okay, let's move on to the testing phase. This little light is LEDs. It actually has batteries in this cover, and it even has batteries in it. So it takes 3 AA's. So it's not a USB, they're not rechargeable, you just put 3 batteries in there, and these batteries even had some power in them. So there we go. Looks like, what was that robot off one movie? I don't know, it had eyes, something like this. Whatever that was called, we can call this lamp. So it works fine. It's not worth a fortune, but I'm going to leave it as is with those batteries. I don't know how good they are. They look like they're half flat. We should be able to get $5 for that. Nice long gooseneck with a clamp. So someone will find that useful for $5, I'm sure. And we don't have to test that being just a battery one. All right, let's have a look at this mini crock pot or slow cooker. EcoPod, I didn't read that before very clearly because of the way they've done the logo. But it's basically a little portable slow cooker with interchangeable bowls and a lid. And there's the cord. And both the bowls look as if they've hardly had any use at all. So we'll put this one in. We'll plug it into the appliance tester and make sure it all works properly and make sure it's safe. It seems reasonably clean. A little bit of grime on that clip, but I don't think it's ever had much use. The cord looks nice and clean. Looks in good condition. So let's plug it in. And the light comes on. And I think it has to be down to actually start. Oh, you've got to push the switch. There, it has to be down to operate that switch. And I should be able to, yes, that's warming up straight away. It looks good on my appliance tester. I should have had the earth probe on it straight away, but it's good. So yeah, it won't actually work unless there's some weight in there, so that actually won't be on, and it needs to operate the switch. Yep, that's working well. All right, so we're going to tag that one. I had a quick look online, and oh, it looks a bit grotty. You have to clean it up a little bit, but it's not damaged. It should clean up fine. They're not worth a fortune. I think they were fairly expensive new. I'm just going to put $10 on that. I'm sure someone will grab it very quickly for that price, with the extra bowl too. So that just needs a wipe over, and we can put $10 on that one. Next is this milkshake maker. It says Crazy Shakes. It's a Breville one. And that, I pointed out that screw before, that would have been a little bracket to hold the bottom of your milkshake cup. So it's really a bit hard to sell when it's broken. I think I'll probably just scrap it for the electric motor. There's not even much of a motor in there. You know, I might just chop the cord off and send it to the transfer station as it is. I can't really sell them when they've got bits broken off them. It's only steel, so it's not like there's any other value other than a small electric motor. So let's just plug it in and see what it does, but I'm not going to sell it. On switch. Oh, it's got a terrible vibration, and I don't know if you could see, but I think the shaft's been bent. Oh, actually it smells too. So, okay, that's an easy one. We're just going to chop the cord off that one and scrap it. I had a look online for these scanners. It's quite an old model. In fact, the USB socket, it has the much older, thicker socket, so it's quite an old unit. There was a few online, people were trying to sell them. They weren't, I didn't see any that sold. And this one looks like it's been used as a pot plant stand or a paving stone. It's all very scuffed. So straight to the transfer station with that one. There was no cords with it anyway. That is a subwoofer, this TDK thing I picked up. And it's supposed to have 2 other speakers with it. And I did see a date on here of 2001. So it's over 20 years old. So we might as well pull that apart and just see if it's got a big transformer or something in there. But yeah, that will go into e-waste as well, unfortunately. Now I have a couple more things to test. The ceramic heater here and the 2 lamps. Now the heater is an older one, but other than the fact that the cords just started to pull out of the clamp a bit, it seems to be in good order. And I think we'd certainly be able to get $10 for this if it works. So let's plug it in. Oh, one of the pins on the plug's been bent. You can generally just push them back. You don't want to push them back and forward too many times, they will break off. Okay, that works. Now, we don't have anywhere to try an earth on here because it's all plastic. It has a safety switch underneath. Let's see if it works. Oh, there we go, a little bit of dust out. And thermostat. Yeah, that's warming up, so that's working fine. Sounds good, actually. Not overly noisy. Does the safety switch work? Yep. Alright, so that just needs a bit of a quick clean, and we will check the cord and just fix that up. So we should be able to get a sale for that one, especially with the weather getting cooler these days. So we have to do a little bit of work for that one. The other thing are these lamps. I've just found an incandescent globe to test this one with. I should have some shades to suit these at the shop. They won't be matching. I won't sell them as matching lamps, and I'll probably only have $5 each on them. But let's make sure they work. And the switch is fine. And the cord is okay, so that one works. We'll try this other one. And that one works fine as well. The switches feel okay. So unless I get a really nice shade for these, if it's just a standard white shade, I'm only going to ask $10. We'll see how they look. If I don't find a shade, I'll just try and get $5 for it as it is. Sometimes people do buy lamps with no shades because they have one of their own. So we'll see how we go. It looks like that was actually the bracket for the shade, and the shades have been broken off. I can see the marks where the little wires were spot welded on. But that's all right. It hasn't damaged the lamp. So we should try and get, maybe we'll write down $5 each for these as they are. And if I find a shade, I'll value add at the shop. So that gives us a few things to sell. But we need to do a little repair on this heater, and we need to scrap out that subwoofer and some cords. And the other things are just, I'll chop the cord off this one. They're going straight to e-waste. Need to clean up the mini crock pot. And we're pretty much done. Oh, we have that mini oven to do too. We'll clean up this stuff first, then we'll have a look at the oven. Time now to look at this heater. I've just taken the filter off the back. The actual filter mesh isn't very good, but it's only really to stop hair getting into the suction side of the fan. Now, I've got 2 of the screws out, which were normal Phillips head, but the other 2 are the little indented triangle, and usually you can find a small flathead screwdriver that fits into one side of the triangle. Security screws, it's a pain, and also I've got a security bit set, but of course you can't get it down where they're really deep in the plastic housing, so I have to revert to the old flat screwdriver method. So these jeweler screwdrivers are quite good, as long as they're not a really cheap set that bend, because I find you can put pressure on the top and use pliers to turn it. And once the self-tappers start, they normally come out fairly easy. It's still a bit tight. And I will replace these with normal self-tapping screws. Still tight. Now we're cooking. So seeing how we're going to pull it apart, we'll get any dust, and there we go, and any other foreign objects out here. Make sure it's safe, of course. Now, which I guess the front panel comes off. There's been a lot of dust in here. I did take the top knobs off too and clean out underneath them. It's like a really fine powder. I don't know where this heater was used. Perhaps in a very dusty environment, so it certainly won't hurt to pull it apart and have a quick look inside. Now, I guess the cord's holding. Oh, there we go. Oh yes, look at this. We don't want this sort of dust in a heater. It can actually start fires if it builds up enough, so it's a good idea to kind of service your heater every so often. And again, because they put security screws in, it's really almost an impossible task unless you know a few tricks. So we'll clean all this up. Now, what have we got here? There's a little neon light globe that's supposed to clip in the bottom there. There's a lot of dust around the element, so I'm sure it'll work much better once this was all cleaned out. Now we do need to get to the other side where the cord goes through. Looks like it's actually broken the outer sheath, so we may have to shorten the cord by a fair bit, I think. Although we could just slide it through. I think it'd be easier to pull the whole thing out and give it a good clean, actually. Probably be easier to blow it a bit of air through with the air compressor. Okay, everything looks okay other than where the wiring goes through the case. We can't really get in here much further until we unplug the wires from the safety switch. That's one, and that's two. Alright, we should be able to pull this out of the road a bit more now. I might cut this cable tie. So our live wire goes straight to the safety switch. So that isolates the entire heater once that switch is disengaged. Interestingly, the other wire, the neutral wire coming in from the mains cord, is green. It really should be blue. Green is more traditionally an earth colour, so that's a bit unusual. Alright, at least we can see in here now. We can get any remaining dust lumps out. And I think I will hit this with the air compressor just to clean it up a bit before I reassemble it. But at least we can get to the back of this plug now. And I think we have to push it through back to the outside to be able to open it out. Alright, that's gone through a bit. I have to lever it from this side, I think. I think a bigger screwdriver blade might help here. And some side cutters, but not to cut, just to get behind that lip and lever it out. There we go. So now that we've got that out, we can open that clamp up. And see what's going on with the wire here. So it has actually broken the outer sheath, and the inner wire does look like it's been kinked. So it is kinked, but I think it's still pretty solid, that wire. It's just folded a bit where the clamp went, so I think we can probably just refit this strain relief clamp further back and have a little bit more wire inside. We'll just have to make sure it doesn't foul against the fan or anything. And we can then just refit the clamp, and that will make it safe. So we've got to close this clamp up around the cable now. And it takes a fair bit of pressure because it really needs to clamp the wire to stop it slipping through. Okay, that's pushed it into the casing there. Sorry, I was probably blocking your view, but that has now clamped the wire and it cannot slip. And the little kinked piece is inside the casing, but it's perfectly fine out of the road, and I'm sure the wires are still strong inside. So that's now safe. I think I'll just blow this out with compressed air. There's a lot of dust around the switch up here. So I'll just give this a clean out with compressed air and we'll give it another test. And it might smell like burning dust just for a little bit until it burns any dust off the heating element. And we'll just check it on the appliance tester once we get it together. Now that that's all been cleaned out, we just need to put the cable tie back in to hold the mains wires out of the road of anywhere, or anywhere they shouldn't be going. And now that can be all reassembled. We have to remember to plug the wires back on the safety switch, where of course the unit won't go. Now we can put the front cover on, and we'll try and get the little neon globe back in a little clip here. Now we can get some proper Phillips head self-tappers to hold it all together. Make sure the case is aligned properly. Feels pretty good. With the case all screwed back together now and the mains cord securely attached there, we can just put the filter back on. It's a bit ragged around the edges, but I trimmed it up with some scissors. And as I said before, it really just stops hair and stuff going in. Now that clips in that way, I think. No, it goes that way. There we go. All good, ready for a test. And it looks pretty good. It looks like a new one actually. Power it up with the appliance tester, our heat control. The LED comes on, well, the safety switch works. It's not an LED, it's a neon globe. So obviously that stayed in the right position. It doesn't smell too bad. I must have blown all the dust out of it. Now that's just on cool. It'll probably smell a bit when it warms up. That's half heat and full heat. Feels good, nice and warm. The thermostat works. And yeah, that's good. We must have blown all the dust out. It doesn't smell dusty at all. Very good, and that passes the tests on the appliance tester. So I reckon we can easily get $10 for that. Very nice, quiet ceramic heater by Cambrook. And I can basically say it's fully serviced and we've repaired the cord issue. The final thing to check out of this lot is this Sterling branded toasty oven, or actually on the tag it says it's an air fryer oven. So it has just a little tray and another solid tray and then an air frying basket. So it's an Aldi brand. It wouldn't have been very expensive. I couldn't find anything like it online. Perhaps it's quite an old model, but it looks okay. And you know, it's a bit dirty, but if it works, we'll be able to sell it probably just for $10 just to move it on. I'm not going to go to too much trouble cleaning it up. I'll just wipe the glass over and the main surfaces. It's a little grimy inside, but it'll be ideal in a workshop. Let's face it, most guys would be happy heating a pie on an exhaust manifold of a tractor, or cooking a steak on the back of a road sign. So, and I've done both, by the way. So in the shed, we don't really mind if it's a bit grotty as long as it heats our pies. And, you know, to my mind, hot temperatures are going to kill bacteria, so we'll be fine. Rightio, let's power it up. All right, display works. Of course, I don't know how to use it. Function. All right, it has all the functions. Toast, bake, grill, dehydrate, air fry, biscuit, pizza, well, everything a guy could want in the shed, really, except perhaps be dehydrated. So it looks like it's going to work fine. Light comes on. The appliance tester is happy with it. I do need to make sure it's earthed though. Yes, and it passes, so it's perfectly fine there as long as it's warming up. I don't know what that does. Oh, is that the timer? Yes, I think. Let's see if it's actually warming up. Oh yes, I can see a little bit of smoke wafting out from something greasy on the element. So yeah, that's feeling fine. Light works, heater element works, test safe. I'm just going to put $10 on it and some guy will love it in his shed. So I'll give it a quick wipe over and this one's finished. Okay, scrapping time just to clean up the last of this stuff. The milkshake maker is just a simple matter of rescuing a little bit of cord and the rest of it's going to e-waste. The power board, exactly the same, although I'll keep the actual board part because I'm going to break a heap of these open to see how much brass we get out of them in a future video. That will be coming soon because I've got quite a pile of them. But we get some cord for our insulated copper wire bins. The little earpiece things here, I'm just going to chop all the earpieces off it. There's two of them here, obviously, a black one and a yellow one. And we'll chop the plugs off as well. And that fine wire I'm just going to put in with my data cable. Still get about $4 a kilo for that. And the plugs can go into the e-waste bucket. And that just leaves us with this TDK subwoofer that I said would have a look inside and see if it's got a big transformer or any circuit boards or anything of interest. So we'll chop the plug and the wire off the back, and we'll pull it apart and see if we can get any usable parts out of it or any better value for scrap. So it'll give us something to do to finish off this video. Take the speaker out of this end. And there's our speaker. It's got a couple of good magnets on the back, but they're usually glued on, or you've got to break rivets to get them off, so I don't normally worry. I do sell magnets through the shop, mainly microwave magnets, and these speaker magnets aren't quite as powerful, so they can just go in the steel bin. Oh, we have a decent transformer in here, so that's where the weight was coming from. Now, do we have any more screws to get out? I think we've got them all. Unless there's some under these feet. No, they're just stick-on feet. So, all right, it should come apart. A few clips. There we go. All right, a lot of plastic. We do have a circuit board on here with a fairly large aluminium heatsink and a decent transformer. So I think we'll get that out. And a little board at the back here. Power input. So a little bit more wiring to grab. Not much value, but we'll pull it apart anyway. So I didn't worry about unplugging the plugs because the board is only a low-grade board anyway, so I won't be saving that. But there's a fair chunk of aluminium there. That's really thick. So it's got a, I guess it's some sort of amplifier module here that needs a fair bit of cooling. So we should be able to get that off fairly easily. It's got some screws through the back. I'll wipe the heatsink compound off here. And we have some other stuff stuck to this side. But that's a fairly good chunk of aluminium, very thick. You know, it won't add up to very much. I'll weigh it and let you know exactly how many cents it is shortly. The board's just basically kind of a power board. It's got some 4 big diodes there, a couple of chips we could take off, but there's really no value there as far as selling as a board. We'll chop a little bit more wire off this thing. And we've got to get the big transformer out. Okay, the transformer is basically glued in as well. They certainly made sure it wasn't going to come loose. So 2 decent bolts plus glue. That's got it free. We'll snip these wires. So a big chunk of some sort of rubberized stuff there. Bit of weight in that. We'll weigh that in a second as well. And that's all I want. We'll just maybe snip a couple more wires, so they're just here. So that can now go to e-waste with the other side of the casing and the board as well. Just purely for interest's sake, now that we've got that subwoofer apart, I thought I'd weigh up the things and show you guys that don't scrap, that there is a bit of value in this sort of stuff, albeit not much. So the transformer, the piece of aluminium, the insulated wire, and that's just the wire we got out of this subwoofer. I've got some other wire from the other things we scrapped. A little bit of hardware that I do put in jars and sell through my shop. So the insulated wire was worth 42 cents. These are the current prices I just got through from my scrapyard just yesterday. The one piece of aluminium was 135 grams, 32 cents. The transformer was almost 3/4 of a kilo, so about 90 cents. And the hardware I sell at about $5 per kilo. It does depend on what it is. I get better money for springs and things like that. About 13 cents. So $1.77 of resources that I can sell out of that subwoofer. It didn't take very long to pull it apart. It's probably not really viable. The big transformer certainly made the difference, being 90 cents there. But, you know, the joy in pulling something apart is immeasurable. Many of us scrappers just purely enjoy that. It's almost a form of meditation. And when I'm pulling things apart in my workshop and not filming, I quite often have some of my favourite YouTubers playing in the background. So I'm multitasking. Who said guys can't multitask? So there we go, a little quick burst of the notepad before we get to the final list at the end of this video. And we've processed the subwoofer. We've processed everything. So let's have a look at it all up on the deck. So here's this week's spoils laid out on the deck. I do this up here because I just don't have enough room in my shed. That's what we're going to sell. We'll get to the notepad shortly. Look at Johnny 5 sitting up there. And also the Bendigo pottery and the little toasty oven there. A little bit of recycling stuff. And I forgot to mention the speaker. It can go in a heavy melt steel and it's almost 20 cents. So that takes our total rescued from the subwoofer speaker to almost $2. And this is all we're sending to Ewaste this week. So we've cut it down by a lot, as usual. We've saved, I reckon I at least save 80% just about every week. So pretty good this week. Let's go and have a look at the notepad. So once again, not huge values, but certainly good quantities saved from the Ewaste stream. Pretty much as I explained, most of that stuff should sell very quickly at $10 each. And the Bendigo pottery piece will sell. It might take a while to find the right person. So that's pretty good. Let's have a look at last week's. So part 15, we've sold both of the items that we salvaged, and we've also sold that green glass. So there's only the clock that's left to go, and that's ticking away beautifully in the shop. I expect that to sell pretty quickly. The week before, episode 14, everything's gone except the nebulizer. That's been in the shop for a couple of weeks. We'll now make that $5. And we'll see how we go there. Let's go back to week 13. And the only thing we have left here is the yogurt maker. It was been down to 5 last weekend. It's still at the shop, so I think we'll move that to the free wheelbarrow for this week. So therefore we can put a line through. I like to cross them out. Do we have anything from part 12? Yes, part 12 is finished now as well because the pancake maker got moved to the free section and that did go. So we can cross part 12 out. And the only other lingering list we have for this series is part 11, the toothbrush charger. I was going to put in the free thingo, but someone messaged me online. I just can't remember who it was now, but someone said they'd be interested if postage wasn't too bad. So I'm not sure if they've got back to me or not. I'll have to check that. If that's a no-go, it will be free. So we can rule this one off as well. And part 10 has already been ruled off, and everything earlier, I think. Oh, the ceiling lights, I'm going to make them free now. They've been around long enough. They're taking up too much space. I initially thought they could have sold fairly easily, but they're just a style that no one wants, it appears. And I couldn't be bothered hanging them up from the ceiling. They're not nice enough lights to do that. So they'll be free. So yes, we've crossed this week out as well. So you can see most of our stuff does sell, but just about all of it does find a new home, whether it's free or the discounted price or full price. Occasionally, like the little halogen lamp I had, I will scrap rather than put for free because that has a good transformer in it, and the wire as well, so I get a bit of a return on that. But a lot of times I'm happy just to let the few little bits of value I could get go to someone if they want the actual item to use, because I'd rather keep it in circulation. So there we go, another episode finished. I've managed to stretch this out to quite a marathon again. It just seems to keep happening. Thanks for watching the series. I'm getting some great comments and I appreciate your support. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.